Hello. Today we talk about stretching. You may think of stretching as taking your body, your muscles, your ligaments, pulling them in the direction. And that is one way to stretch. There's many ways to stretch. And we can think about stretching as one of the verbs, one of the actions you could take, right? So in the framework that we have survey, we have manifestation as one, survey, analysis, action, and it repeats, right? We can review, which is a survey of our actions, and then we can make a new decision, right? We can make a new plan, which is actually an analysis, and then we can take action again. And people love action. People say, hey, you just got to do it. Hey, you just got to do it. You just got to take action. You got to take the action. And action is confusing to some people. They're like, what do you mean action? What is action? Stretching is one of those actions, okay? You can stretch your body, right? But you can also stretch your mind. You could learn new skills. You could actually change your mindset in a way that pushes you, you're uncomfortable with, but it is in the direction that you want, okay? You can stretch your influence on the world, right? And there's different metrics that people use for this, but you can stretch your network. How many people know about you? How many people know what you want, right? Can you introduce yourself to somebody? Can you make a cold call? Can you make a cold email? Can you ask somebody for a reference for one of the projects that you have? Like you want to build, let's say you want to build something, some hardware, like a printer that can last 100 years, 1,000 years, 10,000 years, right? They built that 10,000 year clock. You want to build a 10,000 year printer. You really got to stretch for that because nobody's ever done that before. I think printers last like 3 years max. So you got to stretch who you talk to, stretch what you know, stretch your network, right? Here is network is one. And everybody has a different thing that they may want to stretch. And the feeling of stretch is the feeling of, you imagine a rubber band, right? And you stretch the rubber band and it's going beyond its natural state. Now, when you're stretching as a human, you may, that's permanently your stretched state. And maybe if you stretch a rubber band a lot, it gets larger in its natural state, right? So you're stretching things that you have under your influence. Now, when people think, I don't know what actions to take, look at what would help you stretch. Hopefully towards your goals. Hopefully you already know your goals, and that's from the manifestation, survey, analysis, action, right? So at this point, you have your identity, you see what's available, you have made analysis on what's important, and you've made an analysis on where you want to go. And it's time in that analysis to know what you want to stretch. There's probably someone you could meet that helps you get those goals. There's probably something you can learn to help you get your goals. If you have a body of marketing, of reach out, there's probably a piece of content, a way to share existing content. And it could be anything from an Instagram post to a white paper on a new AI technique that you figured out, right? You're stretching your writing process. Now, these are all like kind of goal-focused, outcome-focused things. Stretching is the things that get you there as well, right? Can you read draft 3 of something? And can you change that to a draft 4? Can you start a first draft? Or can you read a first draft and change it to a draft 2? can you delete some of this stuff and put it into a different part of the paper, right? Stretching is sometimes the revising, the deletion, the additions of certain things that you're doing in process, right? So even if it's, let's say, filming a video, you'd have to do, if it's long, B-roll, A-roll, editing, for different formats, for different platforms. Like, there's tons of work to do. So when people say take action, take action, take action, when you haven't done the analysis, you may be uninformed by what the work is, right? When people say do it, do what? Like, just have the paper out, or do I do the research, or these things, right? And in the analysis, you lay out that plan, and you pretty much need to stretch to get that plan. It's not the only thing we're doing, all right? Stretching is one of the actions. But today I really want to talk about stretch in that framework. So let's say there's step one of stretch, or it's not really a step, it's more of a category. Category of stretch is physical. You stretch your body, right? You physically stretch, right? The motions actually create emotion. The motion of stretch helps you create the mindset of stretch. Step two is mental, right? So your mind is so powerful, right? So like, almost all humans are smarter than all computers that we have, like in terms of pure firing power. All of our economy is geared towards just trying to get AI into a robot to wash dishes, right? Like, and we can't figure out how to make it happen. Like, we're literally all trying to figure it out. Not just America, China, like every country wants to know, how do we build the AI to put into a robot so it can wash our dishes? And we still can't figure it out. And every human can wash dishes, okay? And we know how to do it. AI is good at like pulling up facts from a book, but like, yeah, if we have infinite time, we could also pull up those facts from a book. We just don't have infinite time. So mentally, you need to stretch. And it's not just skills. Skills is a big part. Mindset is part of that as well. And then step three is influence. Can you stretch the influence that you have? That's and typically you have responsibilities, you have things that you own, right? Responsibility, you might, let's say, you and I, we live on a 5-acre lot, right? We have one farmhouse in the middle of that lot, and we just have a small vegetable garden, right? And the stretching would be maybe expanding that vegetable garden, tilling some of that soil, making sure it's healthy to the outer limits of it, or maybe we want another plot to the next of it. We stretch that to make it more beautiful, like more of our vegetable garden or flower garden, and we stretch that ability, right? And it really is ability because it takes work, it takes more water, it takes more maintenance. There could be bugs we're need to interact with. It's a lot of work to do that, and that's a different type of stretch. I guess if you live in the city, you can maybe think about it as like you live in an apartment and there's a driveway in front of your house, the street in front of your house, and you probably want that clean, right? And you clean that, and stretching that would be more, if the house next to you also very dirty, maybe you help them out, maybe they're on vacation, they can't take care of it right now, right? And you stretch a block to the left, you may stretch a block to the right. You may start seeing yourself walking down the street thinking, okay, sometimes I park here, it's super dirty. I'm just going to stretch my influence to a 3-building, 4-building, 5-building radius. Okay, it's the 5 buildings around me. They're all clean now. Every driveway, it's just clean, right? You stretch that. You don't have to do it yourself. You can, as I said, you can network. You can meet people you've never met. You can, be neighborly in that. I sweep yours, You sweet mind, right? I go on vacation as well. So you can stretch that influence that you have in a certain place, is what I mean. It's stretching, it's stretch. I think the step 4, now that you feel like you're in the practice of stretching, it really is a practice. How do you influence others to stretch as well, right? Do you teach, and it goes to all of them, do you teach them how to stretch physically, right? It could be physical stretching, it could be stretching their workout plan, it could be whatever it is. Do you help somebody stretch mentally, right? Can you teach somebody else a skill? Can you, mindset's a tricky one, because mindset actually, that deserves its own chapter, just like the stretch chapter. But mindset, you can imagine, sometimes it's easy for me to picture mindset when it's physical. So imagine there's 2 boxes, right? Box A and box B. And when you pick up box A, you think things are how they are, and things are going to get better. And they're going to get better through what I do and through grace, luck. And that's the starting point. Okay, you put box A down, right? You clear your mind, not thinking anything. There's no thoughts. You pick up box B, and box B says things are how they are, and they're going to get worse. And they're going to get worse through what you do and through grace and luck, right? So, you want a pomegranate tree, so you buy a little seedling and a little branch, or a little tree. You plant it, and the second you plant that pomegranate tree, hail strikes it, and it strikes the tree part, and then thunder and lightning come, and then lightning strikes the root of that tree, and it just destroys it. And worse than that, it destroys the tree next to it, right? So things do actually get worse from what you do. And then just through luck, this is what it is, and this is how you're going to approach life. Right? Like everything you touch is going to get both hail and lightning, and kill the tree next to it, which was going to help you bear fruit for your family, right? So it actually gets worse. So why even try, right? And then you put the box down. You put box B down, you're back at 0, right? You look at box A, and with box A, you can pick it up. You can have that mindset. You can walk with it. That could be your mindset. What you can also do is you can buy more of box A. You can buy 100 box A's, and you can give it to people. And you could say, look, things are how they are, and they're going to get better, right? Based on what you do and through grace, they're going to get better. And that is the mindset that you can walk with. That's the mindset that you can do your activities with. That's the mindset where you're not looking at box B. This is box A, and you can give it to everybody you know, right? And they can hold it all day. They can put it down sometimes, but they have box A available to them. And if they're in the practice of stretching, they hold box A more often, right? And this mindset changes how you approach really anything, right? Right before you take a cold call, right before you send the email, right before you read that book, right before you write a book, right before you do most things, that you are where you are, and things will get better through what you do and through grace. Some people call it luck. And you can share this box A with anybody that you know. So that's mindset, right? So let's go back. I said there was many steps. Number one, physical. Number two, mental, which includes skills, right? Can you do this? Can you change your oil? Can you whatever? Number three, and part of mental is mindset. Number three is influence, right? Can you stretch your influence? And number four, can you help others stretch their influence, right? And the way that you help others stretch their influence is these things, right? Physical, mental, and their influence. And maybe you can also teach others how to teach others, right? Can you help them help others stretch, right? And that's the full cycle. So, I heard the word stretch earlier this morning. I really wanted to talk about it because I just love the idea that if you reverse engineer stretch or you break it down, and these breakdowns are, I should use a whiteboard so I can write all these down so you can be like, and maybe I can edit this in later, but it's stretch, physical, mental, just skills and mindset, and probably more, influence, and then, influence of your own domain, and influence for others to stretch their domain, right? Physical, mental, your influence, their influence. That's stretch, right? That's stretching.